welcome to For the Love of Stamping. It's Tracy. Thanks for joining my video today. Today it's a technique video and I'm going to show you a new technique that I accidentally created. I'm calling it black light technique. And it wasn't until I actually went to take a picture of this card that I realized that it kind of looked like it was a black light. And as you can see, the color choices that I have on my card today feature gorgeous grape, basic black, as well as shaded spruce. So I'm really anxious to show you how I created this card. And in order to create the card, you're going to need some supplies. And I'm going to show you the supplies that I've used. I've started off with some new products from the mini catalog. It is the 2022 January to June catalog, and this stamp set's called Artfully Layered. This is a stamp die bundle. It comes with 8 stamps and 9 dies. And for us today, we're going to use the greeting, the thank you greeting, which I've embossed in white on black. And then I have also die cut a bunch of the pieces that you're going to see here. Now, once I get this open, you'll see that there are 9 dies. The dies that we're going to use today are 3 of the 9. Specifically, we're going to be using these ones. So these are what I'm going to call the inset layers, and this is the outline layer. And that's all of the pieces that I've already pre-cut that you'll see over here. When you do your die cutting and you're die cutting this piece, I want you to make sure that you keep the pieces that are inside, because we're going to do a paper piecing technique with that, in that we're going to put the green pieces in the purple and the purple in the green. And I think that'll make for a really pretty effect. Also, we will be using another die. This is the Stitched Greenery die. It's probably one of my favorites for giving background and texture to cardstock. This is a piece of black cardstock that I've used with this die. I ran through my Stampin' Cut Emboss machine and it created this really cool effect that you see here. Really like the look of this. Color choices, once again, we are using Gorgeous Grape as our base layer, and then we're going to fold this in half, put the black cardstock on top that I've run through the machine. So let's get started with the assembly of this card. To start off, I want you to take your Gorgeous Grape cardstock and you're going to fold it in half, creating a card base that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We'll use our bone folder just to give it a nice crisp edge. And then we'll use some Tombow glue. So I didn't mention all the adhesives that you're going to want to use, but you will want some Tombow glue, you'll want some Scotch tape, as well as glue dots and some black dimensionals when making this card. To finish off our card, I will be using the Gorgeous Grape 3/8 inch sheer ribbon to tie a bow, and I've added some rhinestones. Now I've used rhinestones that come from a retired package called Noble Peacock, but you can achieve the same look by taking some clear rhinestones and coloring them with a purple Sharpie. So we'll grab some Tombow glue and we'll start the assembly. I'm just going to put this right onto the back. I like to use my Tombow so I can move this around, ensuring that I get it situated evenly across the card base. And we'll just place that right on top like this. And then we'll move it around till I get it nice and straight. Okay, looking pretty good there. So we'll just press it in, and I'm just going to set this piece aside while I do the assembly of the other pieces that are going to go on top of our card. So you will have to run through your die cutting machine 2 of the base layers here, which are my outline layers, and then 2 of the inset layers, 1 in each color. And as you can see, I have the other little pieces that I've set aside to make sure that they're going to be ready for me to put into the outline layers here. So we'll take the Gorgeous Grape layers and we're just going to set them right inside. Nice and easy just to pop them in here. And this is where you're going to want to grab your Scotch tape, because we're going to flip these guys over and we're going to just grab some tape and just tape it down. And that just holds those pieces in place, and you're not trying to run adhesive across it. So we'll do that for both of them. Okay, so now I'll grab my green ones and I'll do the exact same thing. And just set those right on inside. And then we'll flip it over. And grab some Scotch tape. And that's that piece all done. This is a pretty quick card to make. You'll see that just the assembly piece is all we're gonna have left to do. To put these pieces onto the base layers, you're gonna wanna take this piece and you're gonna flip it over, and you're gonna adhere this piece right on top, like so. Actually, we'll do the green one. Flip it over, like so. There. And so I'll use Tombow glue for that. I'm going to try to line up my stems when I do this, and then I'll repeat the same thing for the purple. So I'll put the adhesive just on the back of this layer, and then I'm going to place it right onto that little base layer. Put a little touch down the stem. Use my tweezers so I don't get glue all over my fingers. And on the back side, like I said, you'll place this piece right on top. Just like that. Super easy to do. And you can use your tweezers just to move the stem a little bit so that it goes down the center of that piece of the stem. Okay, let's repeat that with the purple and green, and we'll place that onto the purple base. Again, backside of the layer that you die cut, and then straight down on top. And then just swish it over a little bit to center it a little bit better. Okay, and that's those two pieces. So I'm just gonna press down on those to make sure they're stuck down well. And now we're going to start the assembly piece. So this is where you're gonna wanna have some just basic glue, probably Tombow once again. We'll start with the purple layer here. All of these layers are being placed directly on top. The only piece that I've popped up with dimensionals is the sentiment. So we'll start with the purple layer. Again, just swishing some Tombow across the back of this, flipping it over and placing it down on my card, just sort of down in the bottom left corner like so. And I'll grab the green one. Rinse and repeat, they say. We'll just place the Tombow on the back of that one. And then just overlap it just a little bit. Maybe a little bit like so. Actually, before I do that, I should probably place my little ferns in place first. So let's do that quickly before that Tombow dries. I'll just place a little bit of adhesive onto the back of this one. And then we'll stick that down. Placing it about here, I suppose. That looks good. Don't worry about the Tombow. I'm going to end up covering that over with that other layer. But before I put that layer down, I want to place the green layer on top as well. So we'll grab it with our tweezers. And we'll put the adhesive on the back. Little dabs of Tombow in random spots, just enough to grab it so that it will stick to your cardstock. But you don't have to worry about going all the way around with it. It's just enough to hold it in place, because the next layer that goes on top of it will pretty much secure it down for you. So we'll just place this one this way. Like that. Now, I'll just add a little bit more Tombow to the back of this piece here. Started to dry up a little bit on me. Apologies for that. And then that layer just goes right on top. Just like so. All right, just give it a little press. Make sure that it's going to stay down for you. Our greeting's going to go right over top of this, so that'll cover over any of those lines. And then our tiny little bow will just end up down here. So we'll put the greeting on first, and I'm going to use some black dimensionals for that. I'm going to use the small one since my cutout is pretty tiny. I'll flip this over and grab some dimensionals, placing them right in random places, just enough so that it will pop up for us. I don't think I need more than probably one more. We'll just go with 3. See if I can squish one right into here. There we go. All right, and we'll take those backings off. Nice thing about the black is that when you pop this onto your card, you won't see the dimensionals, whereas if you used a white dimensional, you probably would be able to see them a little tiny bit. So we're going to place that right about here. Touch that down. And then we'll grab a glue dot and adhere our bow. And then the one last step that we'll have will be to add some dimensionals to the card, and then you're finished. Easy, easy to do, yet really effective. So we'll just place a glue dot right onto the back of our knot on our bow. Grab the bow and place it right onto the stem. I want to be able to see the thanks. There we go. We'll do it like that. Okay, so one last thing to do, and that will be our rhinestones. I'm just going to grab a paper piercer to take them off of the backing here, and I'll put a couple down on the bottom, a couple up at the top right, and then 2 over on the left-hand side. Well, I hope you enjoyed this technique. Like I said, very simple to do. Sometimes accidents happen and then you create something that you weren't even intending to do, which was my technique for today. So all the instructions will be posted to my blog. I will list the extra supplies below the video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. It's Tracy at For the Love of Stamping, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye for now.